It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. Maybe one day he'll start trying.
Look, I'm not having a pity party. Do I think my life is shitty? Hardly. Actually, I've been fortunate for the most part, though it would have been nice to have a father with at least some heart. He would rather point fingers at everyone else, but when you point a finger at one, you also point three at yourself. He'd rather be on an adventure than fully appreciating all of his own treasures. For 30 years, he would go to work for a man who would bounce checks. When you have an infinite amount to feed, you're better off working at Quick Check. When I was 6, I would ask him why he didn't find a new job. He was too set in his ways to contribute to keeping the power on. My mom got tired of all the excuses when I was like 2. When you were young and naive, you're a bit easier to lie to. So I used to believe in his bullshit. My dad had his chances every time he blew it.
It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. Maybe one day he'll start trying.
Look, I'm not saying he's a terrible person, but he was mediocre and fun was a diversion. I was 16 trying to get the truth. He would walk out, get my stepmom, and yelling would ensue. She'd scream at the top of her lungs, she didn't know her place. I wasn't even her son, I was trying to talk to him. Parent the child, that fool wouldn't call the school, she would. Isn't that wild? Then they would wonder why they wouldn't comply. Oh please, when you get someone to make your phone calls, you seem like a deadbeat. My dad was there but had someone else to do his dirty work, and even then that isn't what really hurts. You see, my dad would compare me to my cousin Brad. I'm taking Prozac to deal. He was more upset that I wasn't calling back, like I treated my mom better or something. Though I wasn't really. Did he even give a fuck about how I was feeling?
It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. Maybe one day he'll start
Look, he'd ask me for my help, I'd say sure, no problem. Halfway through the weekend, I would remind him I wanted to do this favor. He was a procrastinator. Weekend ends, we'll do it some other time, then later. He would get on me about it. It was his idea to wait, but would he see it that way? I doubt it. I'm going through a depression, but he would put shit on me. It wasn't my problem. I began to see why he wasn't happy. He was depressed for years, but too stubborn to try. Blame people for his problems, but then wonder why. Blame doctors, my mom, his wife, his employer, and me. I always had a feeling what happened next was my destiny. I called him out, then left a voicemail the next day, saying I wasn't the only one who had to change my ways. I got mad and told him to keep away until he got help. Left voicemails after, but it seems like I'm just talking to myself.
It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. Maybe one day he'll start trying.
Look, I'm not perfect, I'm human, I made my mistakes. But you gotta understand something, I was a kid when I made them. He was a grown man and just couldn't do what he had to do in life. And even after I told him to just get help, he stopped paying child support and emancipated me, instead of just doing the right thing for him so we could do what's best for all of us.
Way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. It's better this way, that's for sure. Even if it's like this forevermore, I ain't crying. Want you to know that I ain't lying. Maybe one day he'll start trying. He'll start trying. He'll start trying. He'll start trying.